Hi, team. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Doesn't Know channel on my side. Today, we're going to talk about an important topic that no one talks about it, and it's been a challenge actually. I've seen people asking me and telling me like, what is the first document you see or you get in the agile team, and how do you make the team collaborate with you? So, what is an agreement between you and the team? So, I've seen a couple of people answering very wrong. They say that they'll see a product description, they will study about a business requirement document, or they will see a technical document. The most important thing as a Scrum Master or as Agile Project Manager, the most important document where you need to see or prepare or collaborate is called working. Nobody talks much about it, but I thought of, okay, let me try on that to give you more insights how the working agreement has been created and why it has to be created. It's been a challenge today, like in a team, like, we work with someone working agreement. Everything happens so verbal, or someone, the previous scrum master practiced it, so, or the previous project manager practicing it, so you do the same. So you want to collaborate with the team and have a kind of healthy discussion and have an argument between you and the team, which at least a couple of things like what the team has to run, what are the cadences, and how we're going to write a user story, how we're going to collaborate, how the stand-up call is going to run. Everything comes in a nutshell. That is called as working agreement. So today, creating a working agreement for agile team is nothing but should be sorry, nothing but that should be collaborative and structured process. And this helps the team to clear the norms, expectations, and behaviors to ensure that the teams align for very smooth collaboration, right? So I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to speak about end-to-end detailed collaboration, like how you're going to create a working agreement in real time, irrespective of domains. That's a different story again. It comes with domain. So, what are the checklists? First, let's talk about what is the working agreement. So, what is it? Agile working agreement, right? What is that? And how it has to be prepared. In a nutshell, you can say a working agreement is a social contract created in Agile team that defines how the team members work together. It includes communication, rules, meeting norms, and what should be the DOT, that means definition of done, definition of ready, the availability, what are the process of conflict resolution, what are the protocols, etc., etc. Right? So I'm using etc., etc. It depends upon the team, how we need to collaborate. Right? So, what is the working? So, as I said, working agreement is nothing but, excuse me. So, it's nothing. As I told you, right? It's a social contract. Let me write it down here. Okay, it's a social contract, right? We got social contract by agile team. Yeah, let me correct line. Yes. So, it's a social contract with agile teams, which defines which defines how the team members work together. What are it includes actually, right? We have to be careful in that way also. We need to understand. First thing is communication tool. People might ask me, what does the communication do? I would like to take this opportunity to do a video about it, right? So this is a checklist. Or now we need to see rules. Second would be meeting norms. meeting norms. There would be that needs done. There's something very important that needs you um, done. Okay, and ready. The people are ready. Right, so this might change things, but I'm going to just tell you the norms actually when you're creating it and what you have to take the accountability and the availability. How are you going to say that you are available? So because these topics are more important for a Scrum Master and for the team members as well, right? So yeah, how you build teams and how do you conflict resolution, what cause and etc. I can add it. So these are the main things. Okay. The last one will be conflict resolution protocol. Call that as open calls. Yeah, there will be spell checks. Yeah. Okay. These are the things that we need to take or keep it in mind when we are actually communicating or creating and working on that. What's the purpose of working on? See, for any working agreement for any parents or any kind of process, there should be a purpose. What is the purpose actually? So this purpose again is derived from an agile principles, manifesto, and philosophy of agile, philosophy of Scrum, right? So keeping this in mind, the purpose actually of a working agreement will be followed by a transparency to improve the team collaboration and to reduce the misunderstandings or communication errors in the team and make sure that the team clarifies the norms and facilitate self-management. So when you do this right, I can say about 30 to 40% of your facilitation or team conflict will reduce because we have set of documents which the team is agreed to create and people vote for it. I tell you actually like now you have to have voting sessions when you create a working agreement. It's a really challenging task actually. The process is not so friendly sometimes. Some people will say yes, some people will say no, some team members would have another way of approach. There's a challenge. So yeah. So next would be what is the purpose of the working group? Keep in mind, we would actually go deeper on this depending upon the question, the comments. Purpose of the working agreement. What is the purpose actually? For every process, there will be a process, right? So what is the process? Okay, so as I told you, transparency. Let's promote transparency culture and to improve team collaboration, to reduce conflicts, conflicts or misunderstanding. And then, more importantly, is to clarify the team norms. Huh? Self-management or self-organization. This is self-management. Or the team manages the so on. Any questions about the shared or any process you have followed in the organizations about welcome to let me know like okay, this is what so that we can have discussion or correct you or answer them. I mean I have seen I know great challenges in the team getting reduced because of this one document. So I'm stressing out, we go slow. And this is what actually the entire, the base work actually when creating a working agreement. Next, when creating a working agreement, who are the audiences? Right? So, all will be the team, who should be present when you're creating, should be contacted actually when you are actually creating a working agreement, right? So, in my opinion, in my case, in my research, which I've gone through, would be the who are stakeholders we can say. Stakeholders actually. Where stakeholders. First would be Scrum Masters or initiated or an agile coach where you will facilitate a session, ensure the structure of the session actually how the working agreement, why this working agreement, and why this meeting agenda is important. The product owner, he provides the business perspective and clarify the priorities and availabilities actually. So depending upon the domain, depending upon like what specifically on what might be a mobile app, XYZ, right? And most importantly, is the development team. They are core contributors also. So they're going to share how they're going to work, how they're willing to work. And always, I actually, don't keep this an optional, but as I always see now, a delivery manager or a project manager is something important, like where he oversees the entire umbrella of Scrum or it is Agile, right? So don't give him optional, but make it a mandatory at these days. And stakeholders, all the important stakeholders. When I talk about stakeholders, can be a product manager, can be a we can be a subject matter expert, okay? Well, that's optional actually. Also, right? That can be to have, but let's have a structured way of writing or developing a working on them. So, audience, I can do all the stakeholders. Okay, all the stakeholders. Right? As I told you, it will be Scrum Master or another employee. It will be product owner and we have development team. Then again, project manager, right? And then the SMEs, which is a long still. I guess like a long still. Long still. Rather. Okay. So these are most important audience I can say is you want to run by working on. Next comes when and how to prepare. See, most frequently in real-time projects, we have something called as minus one sprint or sprint zero. So before starting the project or the team or sprint, right, you have to draft it. So we can name it as when and how to prepare. It's something more important when and how to prepare, right? So normally when you ask me, I prepare in sprint zero. It can be viewed retrospectives or it can be viewed before starting a project or a sprint. So always I got something called sprint zero or initial sprint. Initial sprint, you can have initial sprint. Okay. And then when and how, I mean, and before onboarding a new team member actually, so normally new team member comes in, you can just review your, with the team and take his opinion also. Okay. So yeah, before on boarding the new team members. Or well, and when we talk about working agreement, right, the most important thing, like we can have the same working agreement entire project. Sometimes we can even do like, like COVID came, right? So the working hours never changed. So we're not physically present there. And when the reorg is happening or there's conflict between the team members, right? So we can do it. So during a major change, it was comes in, okay? The organization or, your iBoard, iBreed working system model or something which comes in. This is something important. I hope I know it's slow. So, second thing is, before you do prepare, what are the checklist you should do add? So normally, like what I do actually is, right, I run through or I reread the agile values principles, which is in common ground understanding, like everyone know it, but it's just the responsibility. Why? Because I've seen some fresher joining, or there'll be some team member who's not more comfortable with an agile, is not working kind of a pure agile platform, or is come from waterfall, or any other SDLC, cycle. That's something challenging, right? So preparation checklist. So what do you want to do? Right. So I want to just name it as checklist, preparation checklist. Preparation checklist. First, what you do, you can put it down, then, what you do is first you read. You have already the principles. This is very challenging because you find it actually, in online or if you go to class, you will find that actually principles or the values of the time, which is more important. This is the first thing you need to do when you're preparing a checklist. Actually, you can create a document or you can create a kind of PPT to run through it. Okay, so when we talk about agile values, something about agile manifesto. As simple as that, right? Okay, we're getting into the real time. Then what you do is like there is a and then you have a voting system actually, right? You have to have a voting system for all the people who have that. Okay. The voting system has to be there, which is mandate for it. And you should have sticky notes or how to take it input from the collective intelligence. So I use sticky notes for it. Then what are the topics you need to include actually, working on? Then this is a kind of checklist format actually. If someone needs, I can share them, but let me explain actually how it happens actually. Okay. So the most important thing, like where in the working agreement, what all should be included topic wise would be the daily standard. What time it's working on online, what's the format you're running it. Because Agile is a friendly process actually. You can start the channel if you want, open the job, or expand it. Just keep the team more motivated. Don't worry about it. And the simple argument will be at the startup call at 10 a.m. sharp, update everything for 60 of the seconds, depending upon the attention part for 1 minute. 1 minute doesn't take tedious time actually, yeah. And meeting etiquette. Cameras on or off, it's left to you, but always I prefer camera to be on, right? And we need to have an agreement, be on time, come prepared, about multitasking. So sometimes, right? I've seen some individuals doing multitasking. So yeah, that's a kind of a rule book. Right? And communication tools, how we communicate, like what are the agents we'll be using, or what are the tools we'll be using, or we'll be using Slack or email or kind of a formal discussion we want to have. And most importantly, we should have definition of done and definition of ready. So I give more importance of definition of done and how you consider the work is completed or how do you say, I can pick up the stories, like what are the checklists actually. An example would be a story is done when it's been coding is completed, reviewed, and merged, and deployed in staging. We'll talk technically about what is staging, what is the requirement. Okay, yeah. Then what is the working hours? When you can call them, when you can contact them, and what is the flexibility? So there's some people they don't pick the call, they don't work up office, or some people extend the time to 2 hours if that is there. And how the code reviews and how the code reviews has to be done, what is the turnaround time, what is the rule book, whether organizations will have a coding practices. Major big fours will have a coding practices, but if no, you can set it up a coding practice, technically speaking, right? And conflict resolution, how the conflict should be resolved, like what kind of methods we use the conflict. We make it depending on the small sprint commitments. How the sprint has to be, committed actually. How do you handle the, if the team is over committed, how you communicate to the team that, it's been over communicated. And second, the last but not the least would be retrospective culture. How are you going to give the feedback? So normally we should always know, if XYZ person comes and says that, I did not get his help from this person within the team. It's not a game culture. It should be a kind of, how you going to document and how you going to take it. All this. And again, comes the last but not the least, once again, the most, I can say, the most beautiful one for individuals, but the difficult one for Scrum Master, project manager would be your days off and leave. What are the informal laws? What are the formal laws? What do you do? Who's going to contact you when you're off? Like, how are you going to, share your note to others? But this all will be there. How are you going to do it? So normally we do it, we have a conference page or we have a, shared calendar. We just slack them sometimes, okay, we're on a plan leave depending upon the sprint and everything, right? So again, topics to be included in working agreement or a checklist actually, right? So I'm going to give that. Yeah, what we have explained here, I will be writing it down. Okay. Yeah. So it is a checklist. You want to argument, right? First would be the daily stand-up status, how we're going to do it. As I told you, your daily stand-ups. What time, what's offline, online, what's offline, really, what is the time format for each other, meeting etiquette, how the meeting etiquette is going to be. Good. And communication tools. Oops, sorry. The push comes ready and it comes done, how it has to be. Working hours, code reviews, how we going to do backlog grooming or refinement, and conflict resolution. Then how we going to come to sprint, we call it a sprint commitments actually. On the retrospective culture, and I can go retrospective. There is there's a planned vacation, These are the things. So these are the important things actually. So I would like to take up in the next video or kind of discussion like how we're going to split this step by step. Are we going to set a stage? Are we going to brainstorm? Are we going to discuss? Are we going to prioritize? And what is the final document to be? Right? So we would even do that actually kind of I would like to run it by my own, but depending upon my experience or if you guys can share your thoughts about what you think about uh, street and how it has to be done. So and again we'll be discussing about the common force to avoid, right? And what are the tools we use and what are the examples of so I can run everything. Okay. Yep. I think this is good for now. Please let me know if you have any queries, doubts, and reach me on. Thank you.